Hello, everyone. You are welcome to the Black Female Entrepreneur Greenwich. As you all know, we are actually coming to the end of our celebration of African Festival. And today I am here with all our young people from Second Thought Book Club who will be talking about the African literature, African poetry, African writer, and African author. So it's going to be an amazing event today, hearing from our young people on their view on African literature and African book. I hope you all enjoy this session as I actually use this opportunity to welcome all our members of the Second Top Book Club, Fatima, Perez, and Adrian. I will be hand over this today event to Perez to actually do the introduction. Then my role today is actually hosting, presenting, and also asking the young people how they feel. And my co-host for today is Perez. So over to you, Perez. It's your position now to do justice to today's show.
Thank you, Lucy. Good evening, everyone. I am your co-host Perez, and today me, Fatima, and Adrian will be presenting you with the African literature, writing, authors, and poems as a part of the African Festival. This show is in collaboration with Woolwich Common Community Centre Library. I want to thank them for providing us with some of the books we are going to be talking about today. So I'm now going to hand over to Fatima to introduce herself to you guys.
Thank you, Perez. So my name is Fatima, and I'll be presenting a poem and a book to you guys today.
Thank you, Fatima. Adrian?
My name is Adrian, and today I'll be presenting a book and poems today, and I'm glad to be here.
Thank you, Adrian. So now we're going to start with Fatima to present us with her first piece of African literature.
Thank you. So my first piece of writing that I'll be reading is a poem by Wala Soyinka, and it is a Black poem, and it's saying that you should never be afraid of who you are, and you should be happy that God made you the way that you are. This poem is called Still I Am. Glad to carry the world, glad of my short arms, of my long arms, of the thickness of my lips. I thank you, God, for creating me Black. White is color of special occasions. Black is the color for every day. And I have carried the world since the dawn of time. And my laugh over the world through the night creates the day. I thank you, God, for creating me Black. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Fatima. Can we now head over to Adrian to present us with his first piece of African literature?
My first African piece of literature is a poem by Eku McGred called I Am an African Child. This one's quite long, so I'll go as far as I can. I am an African child, born with a skin of color of chocolate, bright, brilliant, and articulate. Strong and bold, I'm gifted, talented enough to be the best. I'm an African child, often the target of pity. My future is not confined to charity. Give me the gift of a lifetime. Give me a dream, a door of opportunity. I will thrive. I am an African child. Do not hide my fault. Show me my wrong. I am like any other. Teach me to dream, and I will become. I am an African child. I am the son, daughter of the soil, rich in texture and content, full of potential for a better tomorrow. Teach me discipline. Teach me character. Teach me hard work. Teach me to think like the star within me. I am an African child. I can be extraordinary. Call me William Kwamba, the inventor. Give me a library with books. Give me a scrapyard and discarded electronics. Give me a broken bicycle, plus the freedom to be me, and I will build you a windmill. I am an African child. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Adrian. Now I am going to present you guys with my first poem, which is called And Still I Rise by Maya Angelou. You may write me down in history with your bitter, twisted lies. You may trod on me in the very dirt, but still like dust I rise. Does my sassiness upset you? Why are you beset with gloom? 'Cause I walk like I've got oil wells pumping in my living room. Just like the moons and the suns, with the certainty of the tides. Just like hopes springing high, still I rise. Do you want to see me broken, bowed head and lowered eyes? Shoulders falling down like teardrops, weakened by my soulful cries. Does my haughtiness offend you? Don't you take it awful hard? 'Cause I laugh like I've got gold mines, digging in my own backyard. You may shoot me with your words, you may cut me with your eyes, you may kill me with your hatefulness, but still like air, I rise. And once again, this poem is called And Still I Rise by Maya Angelou. So can we please move on to Fatima to present her second piece?
Thank you. So this next book I'll be reading is more of a children book. It's called Hair Love. And as you know, children my age and younger have lots of negative opinion about their hair. And this is to love your hair no matter what condition it is. My name is Zuri, and I have hair that has a mind of its own. It kinks, coils, and curls every which way. Daddy tells me it's beautiful. That makes me proud. I love my hair, lets me be me. In funky braids with beads, I am a princess. And when my hair is in two puffs, I am above the cloud like a superhero. My hair even does magic tricks. One day, Rocky and I were playing outside when along came a rain. From large to small, it went presto, just like that. Today, I woke up extra early all by myself. I was excited to sleep. It's a big day. Daddy was still sleeping. Shh, I said to Rocky as we tiptoed past him. Lately, Daddy has been worn out. He makes me breakfast, takes me to school, goes to work, picks me up, and yesterday we went for a bike ride around the park. I think he needs a break. Because today is special, I want a perfect hairstyle. This calls for a professional's touch. Pause off, Rocky. Daddy heard the crash. Zuri, what on earth? He asked. I was only trying to help, I said. Daddy smiled. Can I help too? It'll be a piece of cake, Zuzi. The first star was a big no way. The second was no better. No, Daddy. Then Daddy tried slicking my hair back into two puffs. Ouch, Daddy yelled. Wait a minute, Daddy said as he reached into the drawer and pulled out a pick. Ta-da! Daddy, really? I said. I'll be right back, he promised. Now, how's that? He asked, pulling a hat over my eyes. Daddy, come on, we can do better than that. I really need my hair to be special. Don't worry, he said, we'll figure this out. Then I had a great idea. Daddy gathered all the tools we needed and we were set. Watching carefully, Daddy combed, parted, oiled, and twisted. He nailed it. Funky puff buns, pretty. And so much fun. Rocky approved too. I put on my superhero cape as the final touch took a perfect look. Where's my Zuzu? Mommy called from the door. She could not get out the house fast enough. Mommy, you've got the prettiest Supergirl I've ever seen, she said. And your hair is beautiful, Zuri. Who did it? I looked at Daddy and beamed. Mommy smiled. Very nice, thank you. We learn from the best, Daddy said as he gave her a big hug. My hair is Mommy, Daddy, and me. It's hair, love. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Fatima. Could we please go now to Adrian to read his book? Just read at least 2 pages because I think I'm aware that your book is a bit longer.
My book is by Joel Parker Rhodes, and it's called Ghost Boys, and it's basically about a boy who gets shot by the police because they mistake a toy gun for a real gun, and then he's a ghost and he's trying to protect his family, but notice more ghost boys that are like him, which you can kind of infer that a lot of black young, we can say minors, are being like assaulted by police in America, and many of them are. So I'll read my 2 pages. Said, how small I look, laid out flat, my stomach touching the ground, my right knee bent and my brand new Nikes stained with blood. I stop and stare at my face, my right cheek flat tend on concrete. My eyes are wide open, my mouth too. I'm dead. I thought I was bigger though, but I'm just a bit of nothing. My arms are outstretched like I was trying to fly like Superman. I'd barely turned, sprinting. Pow, pow. 2 bullets. Legs gave away. I fell flat. Hard. I hit snowy ground. Ma's running. She's wailing. My boy, my boy. A policeman holds her back. Another policeman is standing over me, murmuring, it's a kid, it's a kid. Ma's struggling. She gasps like she can't breathe. She falls to her knees and even screams, I can't bear the sound. Sirens wail. Other cops are coming. Did someone call an ambulance? I'm still dead. Alone on the field, the policeman closest to me is rubbing his head. In his hand, his gun dangles. The other policeman is watching Ma like she's going to hurt someone. Then he shouts, stay back. People are edging closer, snapping pictures, taking videos with their phones. Stay back. The policeman's hand covers his holster. More people come. Some shout. I hear my name. Jerome. It's Jerome. Still, everyone stays back. Some curse. Some cry. Doesn't seem fair. Nobody ever paid me any attention. I skated by, kept my head low. Now I'm famous. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Adrian. And the book I'll be presenting to you guys first is called Dear Martin. And it's a story about a boy called Justice, who is an African American, who then becomes a victim of racial profiling. He then struggles to reconcile the fact that he's a good child because he's in handcuffs. And as you all know, if you're in handcuffs, it means the police clearly see you as a bad person. So I'm not going to read 2 pages. And just a heads up, if I pause, it means it's a swear word. So we want to be viewer friendly right now. First, she throws up all over the hoodie Just is wearing, which belongs to Manny, who specifically said, don't come back here with throw up on my hoodie. Perfect. Just takes off his sweatshirt and tosses it in the back seat. When he tries to pick up Milo again, she slaps him hard. Leave me alone, Justice, she says. I can't do that, Mel. There's no way we'll make it home if you try to drive by yourself. He tries to lift her by the armpits and she spits in his face. He considers walking away again. He could call her parents, stick her keys in a pocket and bounce. Oak Ridge is probably the safest neighborhood in Atlanta. She'd be fine for 25 minutes. It would take it would take Mr. Taylor to get here, but he can't, despite Manny's assertion that Milo needs to suffer some consequences for once. Leaving her here, all vulnerable, doesn't seem like the right thing to do, so he picks her up and tosses her over his shoulder. Milo responds in her usual delicate fashion. She screams and beats him on the back with her fists. Justice struggles to get back to the back door. Justice struggles to get the back door open and is lowering her into the car when he hears the whoop of a short siren and sees the blue lights. In a few seconds, it takes the police car to screech to a stop behind him. Justice settles Milo in the back seat. Now she's gone catatonic. Justice can hear the approaching footsteps, but he stays focused on getting Milo strapped in. He wants it to be clear to the cop that she wasn't going to drive so she won't be in even worse trouble. Before he can get his head out of the car, he feels a tug on his shirt and is yanked backwards. His head smacks the door frame just before a hand clamps on the back of his neck. His upper body slams onto the trunk with so much force he bites the inside of his cheek and his mouth fills with blood. Just swallows, head spilling, unable to get his bearings. The sting of cold metal around his wrist pulls him back to reality. Handcuffs. It hits him. Milo's drunk beyond belief in the backseat of a car she's fully intended to drive. Yeah, just as the one in handcuffs. The cop shoves him to the ground beside the police cruiser as he asks if Justice understands his rights. Justice doesn't remember hearing any rights, but he had been ringing from the 2 blows to his head, so maybe he missed them. He swallows more blood. Officer, this is a big misunderstanding, he starts to say, but he doesn't get to finish because the officer hits him in the face. Thank you so much. We're now going to go to Fatima to present her third African literature.
Thank you. But before I go on, I believe Lucy has a book to present.
Should I present mine or after you've done your one? Then I will present mine. After you've all done yours, I'll present mine. Then I can ask you all question about the book you've chosen and why you've chosen it. Thank you, Fatima.
Yeah. So before I go on with my third book, the book that I read, which was called Hair Love, is by Matthew Sherry and illustrated by Vashti Harrison. So my third book is called Agent Zibir Investigates by Annabelle Sam, illustrated by Daniela Sosa. So I chose this book because it was really interesting. It's about a young Black girl who is really interested in crime and investigating and all that stuff. And I will really advise this book for you if you're really interested and you're really nosy. It's about a girl who gathers all her friends and they try to make a crime so they can fix. And it's really interesting.
Thank you so much, Fatima. Can we please go to Adrian, if you have anything?
My third literature is called Born in Africa by Saint Antoine de la Vaudie. And it's just about how someone wants to save Africa from how they were a child, and now they're an adult and they're trying to save Africa from poverty, from violence, etc. And it goes in with statements like when they were a child, they said, "I will save Africa." And then when they're an adult, they'll be like, "I must save Africa." And then when they do end up getting close to saving Africa, then they say that, "Oh, Africa is my country," and so on and so on.
Thank you so much, Adrian. The next book I have here is called Dear Justice, and it's actually the sequel of Dear Martin by Nick Stone. And this book is about a 16-year-old African American called Quan, who faces a 20-year jail sentence. He struggles avoiding his mother's abusive boyfriend, and he's forced to excel in school to keep his siblings from going hungry. Since Lucy wants to present her book, I'm going to say it over to you, Lucy.
Okay, this is thank you all. I've been listening to all your books. In fact, every book you've picked and the poem is something that is I'm very passionate about. Maya Angelou is one of my favorite poem writer, and if Perez, if any one of you have seen the Black Female pamphlet, you can see that was one of it's like our national anthem and the Black female entrepreneur, Maya Angelou. It's a beautiful poem. And Fatima Wala Shoyinko is one of a great African writer. And Adrian, the book you pick and the poem just actually speak a lot, and especially now that there's a lot of gun violence among our young people, and you've actually taken time to that was a very careful selection of the book that you have picked, and also making sure that we looked after our young people and give them hope. Thank you for picking that book. And the book I'm going to read is saying it's written by Ifoma Onyefulu, and it's saying goodbye, a special farewell to Mama Nkwele. So I picked this book because during COVID we lost a lot of people from our African community, and it was very difficult for all that because of the COVID and the restriction. A lot of people could not say goodbye to their loved ones, and for we in the African continent, death is something very crucial. So we actually celebrate it, and when somebody dies, we give them a proper farewell. So during COVID, that was very challenging for a lot of people to do farewell to their loved ones, and that was why I decided to pick this book. You can see all the women all dressed up and saying farewell to grandma. And if a lot of you that have been, if you've never been to Africa before, when farewell to anyone that have died, especially when they are very aged person, is very, very crucial and important. And you can see the children went back home. They're all from the Western world, from America, but they went back home to say farewell to grandma. And you can see that as a designer myself, this is an old sewing machine that they were using to actually make some of the clothes that all the people are going to wear on that day. So they will see they're all cleaning up the place and then sweeping it up, getting ready for the funeral. And as you all know, food is very crucial. And anything we do, we must cook. And we don't cook just like in a portion. We cook for mass, like a massive cooking, so that everyone will have a taste of the food. So first of all, I will just show you some of the pictures so that you can get a feel. Then I can read a page for you. And you see everyone wearing the same clothes. I know some of the way you see the Africans wearing the same, that it is very important. The clothes you wear for funeral or wedding, they call it ashebi. That is used to identify the friends, the family. So it's very important that we wear that our traditional wear. So they are putting on Ankara, and everyone from that family have put in one. So sometimes they distinguish between different family, the kind of attire. And if you can see over here, they all decorate the table where they put the grandma pictures. And you can see there's some kola nut, there's some garden egg. Garden egg and kola nut is very crucial. And people were also donating something to the family just to say farewell, because funeral arrangement is not easy. And because they are even though they are traditionalists, some part of the family, some of them also practice either they are Muslim or Christian. So you can see they've given Mama a befit burial. The priest has come and everyone has gathered to say goodbye to Mama. And after that, we do not mess around with our culture. So Following the burial ceremony, after the priest has prayed, everyone gathered together, the musician, and they are singing and dancing and saying farewell to Mama, and so that Mama's soul will rest in peace. And now is the time for, these are the age that they used to call them age grade, the women that dance in the community, just like the Black female entrepreneur. But these ones are traditional women in the village, and they all come out. Sometimes when you see me and Tammy always coming out and dance, we don't just dance because we want to dance. This is proper culture. You have to give that honor. Women coming out and showing respect to Mama. And then people like you, Adrian, Fatima, when you go home and see things like this, a lot of children out there, you'll be wondering, why are all this happening? It is good for we that are adults there to explain. You can see the uncle, because the boy was so confused about everything happening. But uncle is there to actually explain the scenario and what is happening, to keep the knowledge going. And now families and friends are now coming out to also pay their own homage and singing and dancing. And now you can see, and we always say this, no matter how small, if you are the first daughter or the first son of the family, they call it Ada, either the Ada or the son that is the head of the house. And that is why it's very crucial. I remember speaking to the school one day, and I said to the teacher, and I said, every first child of an African home is the head of the house. And they are being brought up as the head of the house. So they are being taught how to be in charge, how to look after the home, how to make decisions. You can see no matter how small that boy is, he was put at front of the line before the elders because he was the first grandson of the house. So after Mama died, he would take the lead. And that is why you can see him at the front of the queue, heading the men that are going to dance. So Africa, we're very, very keen about passing on rules and tradition to our young people and making them to understand the role they play as the first daughter and as the first son of the family. And over here, you can see now, after the death, after they finish all the burial ceremony, the women would take the picture of the grandma and go around the village and sing all what they are saying, because they believe that after death, after anyone died, their spirits still hang around. So the only way that the spirit can go to sleep is to take the picture of the person and sing and tell them that we are still with you. Even in death, we are there with you. So by singing around and praising the person and calling out all the village, we believe that the soul of that person will rest in peace. And that was why it was very hurtful for a lot of the African communities, that they were unable to do the funeral rite after the death of their loved one following COVID, because they believe that the spirit of their loved one is still hanging around. And I believe after this event, during the summer, there will be a lot of funeral celebration, because without doing this, it's culture, it's tradition. The spirit of our loved ones cannot rest except we give them a befitting burial. So you can see friends and family have come around. People always say we like celebrating, but this is part of our culture. And you can see everyone sitting around and dancing. And after the whole event, people still hang around because you still have friends and family coming to visit you. And it's an opportunity for the children also to understand food and culture and what they play. So, I'll just quickly read a little passage on the place so that you can understand a full. I'm going to read here where they're saying the final farewell. Later, my grandmom was asked to hold the picture of her mom, Mama Inewe, while she was dancing. Uncle Asike said that it is what you do when someone dies. Here is my grandmom dancing with other relations. But the biggest dance of all, on the 4th day, when people from the village of Amucha came along and joined in. They were so sad that Mama Inewe has died. They called out, Usu, her first name. They ran into the sitting room. After that, some of the people went home. So you can see what I say. They will call her name. There were 4 days when nothing happened. Then one day I heard 4 loud bang. Uncle Aseke said it was the 4th gun salute to remind everyone to come to Mama Inewi's house just for one day. This time there were no drumming or singing and dancing because it was a quiet time to remember Mama Inewi. And when Uncle Aseke was right, everywhere was so quiet as a stone drop, except when people were talking to each other. My great aunt said to me, "Do you remember what your great grandmother used to say?" And I said, eye, ear, and nose. Because Mama Ine will always say that when it is time to go home, my great auntie, "Child, you are so like your great grandmom." So she was one for remembering things. And why did she say that? Because eye, ear, and nose will help me to learn things every day. I said to Uncle Aseke, there would be another 7 gun salutes in 12 days time, but today they would go on being quiet. He was right again, because there was no noise apart from the humming sound everyone made as they told each other the story about Mama Newi. My great auntie said to me, "Ikenna, your great grandmother used to dance like a butterfly, a most beautiful butterfly in the world. When she was a young girl, she won lots of prize too. People would lift her up on their shoulder after she has danced. They love her because she made them happy. I wish I was a dancer," I said to Uncle Patrick, said I could be. So he clapped for me and I danced a bit, but not like Mama Inewi, the butterfly dancer. So burial is a very key and important part of Africa. And when someone dies, we pay respect to the dead. We don't say anything bad about the dead. We respect them. We remember them for what they have done. We remember all their good time. We salute them. We recognize them. We celebrate. And sometimes, if it's an elderly person, older, we celebrate their lifetime. But if it's a young person, we mourn, we cry, we weep because they've gone so soon. But still, we still perform the burial rite. We still do all the tradition. We still also talk about what they've done and what they would have achieved. So I hope you all enjoy my book by Ifeoma Onyefulu. It's a very beautiful. You can check her. She has written a lot of African book, and also explaining some of the tradition that you can find in Africa. So my question, because I know you guys have read a lot of book, and I would like to start with Perez. I know you're my co-host today, but I'm going to ask you this question. You've picked Angela, Maya Angelou, which she is such an amazing writer. I love her book. I've listened to her documentary. I've listened to a lot of things that she has written, and she's a community activist. Please, can you tell me why you picked that book?
So the reason why I chose to read Maya Angelou poem is because she's such an example. She's a great icon for us young Black females. She's done a lot of great things, like you've just said, her writing, the way she writes in a persuasive manner to, talk to us and lecture us about what is going on, and her views and perspectives of different things in our life. So I wanted to read it today to show everyone how she handles her vocabulary and her way with words.
I'll still come back to you, Perez. I can see from Maya Angelou poem, she also talked about some of the challenges she faced as a Black woman and how she managed to deal with those issues. And she has used some of the challenges she faced in life to become, although people were doing it to her to make her feel down, but in return, she turned them into a poem, and those poems has won her a lot of award. And those some of the writers, her stories, her day-to-day story, has actually inspired her to talk more about the challenges she faced, the discrimination, the unrecognition, and how people try to play down on an achievement. As a young Black woman, what would be your advice to other Black, both adults and young people, just following what Maya Angelou has said in her poem? What would be your advice?
My advice to all the young women out there is to block out all the negativity. Like in her first stanza, she says, "You may write me down in history with your bitter, twisted lies, but still like dust I rise." So what she's showing there is that even though they're throwing negativity, hate, and lies towards her, she's blocking it out and she's becoming the great person that she has become. So my message is to you is to don't allow the negative comments and the negative attitude bring you down. Instead, ignore them and take them as positive points and bring yourself up to be the greatest person you can become. Thank you.
I am very sure, Perez, that Angela Mayo will like to hear. I'm sure she'll be so proud, very proud of you, the way you've summarized those words. That is such an amazing one. That is my key. I love that. I read that poem every day when my challenges in life, and that has actually inspired me to do what I do, no matter how greater challenge I face in life. When I think about Maya Angelou poem, I just lift up myself and I head up and I just walk the walk. Thank you very much. And I'll go to Fatima. Fatima, your poem and the book you've actually, I love your poem. At the same time, your book was very catching. The book about the hair, a lot of Black girl child, they've been discriminated because of the texture of their hair. The way their hair look like, whether it's dreadlock or it's afro, and when they try to get their hair ready or present their hair, sometimes some school, we've got cases of school actually discriminating against Black hair, especially for Black girls, and a lot of Black girls don't feel comfortable with their afro hair. So Fatima, I would like you to just talk more about that book in terms of the hair and how what the writer was actually talking about the Black girls and the Black boys' hair.
So in this book, the writer was talking about a girl who had really nappy hair, and as a Black young girl, your afro hair is naturally like that. So you can obviously learn to maintain it and put it how you like, but some people, they obviously would make negative comments about your hair, about the way you look. And my advice would just to be ignore it. And like Perez says, ignore it and become the great person you are. And no matter what people say about you, you're still going to stay strong.
Thank you very much for that. I'm going to come back to institution. We've seen a lot of people being turned down, and you guys are still young people. You're coming up very soon. You get a job. And especially the boys, a lot of our boys now are beginning to keep their afro hair, and a lot of our girls, I know some people still put in extension, which it's up to them if they want to do that. But what would be your advice to institution? When I mean institution, I mean like school, like corporate offices, people that would take people for interview. And what would be the advice in terms of when they come across that Black people from African background or from the Caribbean background that want to keep their dreadlock, that want to keep the Afro, and that they use that as a point to score them down. What is your advice for them?
My advice would be for them to look about what's in the inside and not what's on the outside, because it's not that hair that matters, it's what's on the inside, their personality, their intelligence, their talents, all the stuff that they can do. They should look at that and use that to grade them instead of their hair, their personalities, and their looks.
Thank you, Fatima. You nailed it. And I think all of you should be sitting on those board, those scrutiny board, those top places and making decisions. And I believe a lot of our institution are hearing what you're saying. It's not about the outer look. If the person is qualified for that job, if the person is intelligent, the person have what it takes to be given that position, you need to stop. They should not discriminate against the person or because they have an Afro hair. That is part of them. That is who they are. We keep saying we want people to keep to their identity, we want people to keep to their real self. That is their real self, their hair. And a lot of African writers, a lot of Black writers are actually campaigning for it. That the look of our young people should not be used to judge them. Thank you very much for that amazing talk. And I will go to Adrian. You know, I was so, I know, you know, the last event we did, you spoke so much like a professor. You know what? I'm really looking forward to see the great person that you're going to be, because you speak so well about issues that affect young people. And I really love the book you've picked that regarding the boy, the gun and what has happened to him and how that actually affect. What make you to pick that book?
Thank you. For my book, Ghost Boys, what made me pick it was because I'm like into drama. You want to find a piece that's like hard hitting to the community and shows diversity and how it could be affected from now to then. Because if he's seeing a lot of boys the same color as him, as a young boy, you would be quite affected to see why aren't there other people different from me, to show diversity. And from that, you can infer that maybe young boys were being racially abused just because for the color of their skin. And it clearly states that he was with a toy gun. And it shows that the boy was never like, no one really cared about him until he really died. And that could really like traumatize a person. Although he's dead, he will keep remembering that for his life after. And I feel like for all young boys and girls, I feel like because it's not your fault if you're really racially targeted, but you should live your life to the fullest and make sure whatever you seek for, at the end of the day, you're nearly there or there. Because I feel like some Black boys, Black girls think that, okay, maybe because I'm naturally smart, I don't have to push myself like others so I can be at a good place in life. If you try as hard as you were to get that smart, you will gain something to show people instead of just being smart, but you have nothing to show for it. If you just die with no accomplishments, nothing will happen. So personally, I feel you need to live your life to the fullest. And to add onto Fatima's point about in the judging people about their inside, most people for jobs for like food places like KFC, McDonald's, I would understand why you would say maybe they'll have to wear one of those hair tie things so nothing goes into the food, but that's kind of natural. But if it's for a job where you're in an office, I don't see why you would need to discriminate someone's hair because maybe it's long and it's always going below their shoulder. So maybe you feel like, oh, they have to cut it so they look more presentable to the community so they don't get judged because of the way they look. And just because most white people have silky blonde hair doesn't mean that Black people will have to go for that representative and have the same hair. Thank you.
Thank you very much. When you talk about the ghost, you say the ghost boy, is it? The ghost, yeah. A lot of our young people are living like a ghost. They're living like a ghost because of the way people judge them. So they don't live their real self. They live as if they don't exist. They live like a ghost. I think you should write a poem about that, because a lot of young people live like a ghost, and they live like a ghost because they don't feel confident in themselves, and it's like they don't exist. They live like a ghost because of poverty. What poverty has done to them, because they are from a very deprived home. They live like a ghost because they live in a very overcrowded housing, and they don't have space to do anything, just like the other children do. They live like a ghost because the immigration situation has made them to live like a ghost. So I really like that irony, that irony of people living like a ghost, and a lot of young people have been affected, and especially our Black young people are affected, and they are living like a ghost. Why should they live like a ghost when they are still living? I think it's really wrong, and I think we should discuss about that, because when you are still living, you should not be living as a ghost. You should, like what you say, people should be allowed to live a full life, and be part of the society, not living as a ghost, because they don't have a father figure in their life, and or because there's no one out there to actually represent, giving them a platform. They don't have a platform. So for that, they are living like a ghost. Their talent is also living like a ghost. I am so impressed with everything that you guys have said today. I'm a literature student myself. I love literature, and African literature is one of the best. I've read it from their book, Chinua Achebe, Arrow of God, Things Fall Apart, Olarotimi. There's great writer out there. So those of you that have not actually read the African literature, and then you talk about the African proverb, where you find in a lot of those African literature. I implore you all to read a lot of African literature, because they're such an amazing book, and they will tell you more in light, and they inspire you, and you see the journey of those writers. I won't take too much of your time. I will just go around. If any one of you want to have one or two things to say about African literature, then we'll call it a day. So over to you, Perez. I will leave you to round up this session. If anyone wants to say one or two things about the African, then we round it up. Thank you very much for I enjoy being with you at this session, because African literature is very important to me. Thank you.
Thank you, Lucy. Just to quickly say, my first book, Dear Martin, I just wanted to mention that the message behind it is that white people in the positions of power ought to recognize the social economic factors that contribute to their success, meaning that they need to realize and open their eyes and smell the coffee and understand why you don't see BAME people in the higher positions. My personal opinion, even though we're not seen as, normal people because of the color of our skin, give us a chance, because we are as bright as you. Most of us, we're not in those higher political stages just because you guys, I wouldn't say feel threatened, but you guys don't feel like we should be there. So I think we should start there and make a change from the government to allow more BAME people to enter politics, to give us as a Black community the thumbs up to come out of our shells and to become as one and become a part of the community. Thank Fatima or Adrian, if any of you want to say something, you can say it right now before we round up.
And just to spread awareness in general, like I think it was a few weeks ago, someone went into a voice chat with me and my friends and called one of my friends a Nigerian monkey. I asked my friend, "Aren't you gonna do something about it? Like, he's just racially abused you." And he told me that I'm kind of used to it by now, and that's not a good thing. A young boy or girl should not be thinking that, oh, I'm kind of used to it, nothing should really happen. Like, first of all, you should be talking to your parents, because whoever that is, you shouldn't really be around them if they're going to judge you or discriminate your beliefs, your thoughts because of the color of your skin. I think if people treat us Blacks as normal people, as they would treat their parents, their friends, I think the world would be just such a better place if everyone was treated as everyone. Thank you.
Fatima, do you have anything to say before we round up?
Yeah, thank you. So going back to what Lucy said about children, Black young children being a ghost and not having a place to showcase their talents and what they can do, I feel like that goes back to there being more youth centers around areas like Woolwich and Greenwich, and there to be more youth centers to allow children to showcase their talents and to be them, to show their personality and a place where they can be unique. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Fatima. I just want to say a big thank you to Lucy for allowing us to come on this platform to speak our mind and present different types of African literatures to you guys. Thank you so much. We appreciate you giving us this opportunities. And yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Lucy, do you want to close?
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. I'm honored. I'm privileged. I think Madam Shosha has missed today. I really love today's section, and I think you guys should have your own platform to showcase, because I believe there's a lot to learn from you. You have it all full in there. I'm telling you, you are the melting point of our young people voice, and I'm glad to have you all. And from me to you all, thank you all for watching today, the African Literature and Book. And on the 7th, we'll be again at the Black Female Workplace Studio, where we'll be showcasing African fashion. So it will be myself, the model, and contour to contour. So come and see some contemporary African fashion, what you can miss, accessories. Those of you, it's summer. You need to get yourself all summery and lighting and giving yourself all the lovely outfits. We are here to advise you on African fashion. We're here to showcase some of our products. So stay tuned on the 7th of August. And this Friday, Fun Friday, the Black Female will be at the Woolwich Garden Square. We have the Congolese trumpeter coming to play some music at the Garden Square. We have Flavor Side doing the Afrobeat dance. We have Lalu Catering with the African contemporary food. Is going to be yummy, yummy. And again, to crown it up, we have the BFEG pop-up market. So there will be some beautiful Afrocentric accessory item, affordable summer sales. Come out there this Friday and at the Garden Square, where we'll be joining the Fun Friday. It will be a really fun day. And I hope to meet our young people. I believe, Perez, are you doing your media this Friday? I don't know. So let us see if our young media will be out there. I believe Madam Shosha will be live direct to actually get the day all full on. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you on Friday and also on the 7th of August. And have a lovely, lovely summer celebration. On 31st of August, we will be live at Tramshade, rounding up the African Festival. It has been an amazing 3 months of event. So big clap to all those that have made this possible. And thank you all for joining. Good night. Have a great week. Bye.
Thank you.